Hello, my loves. This is your December soul message. Wow, should we all just take a deep breath because it is a lot right now. I'm just going to start with the oil because I feel like I need a huge huff of it. I've already been smelling it. So with the caveat, when I was writing the blog, and there was like 5 oils that were swirling around wanting to come forward for December. The theme is grab your calm the fuck down oils. And so I'll talk about what some of those are for me in a bit, but the oil that landed for us for December is cedarwood. And cedarwood, it's awesome. It's like $14, $12. I don't even, it's one of the cheaper oils. I just ordered 3 bottles of it from the Black Friday sale. It is so good. It has this encompassing feeling of like everything's going to be okay. You're held by the mother. You're in a warm nest. Everything's going to be okay. There is so much going on right now. I was just talking to a friend before this, and she was saying, I don't even know what day it is, what time it is. I can't even track. And I'm like, yeah. Today is Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. All day I was convinced it was Wednesday or Thursday, that it was the end of the week. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, wait a minute, it's only Tuesday. Like, this is what is going on right now. So it just feels so busy and, heightened. I feel like, oh my gosh, and it's taken me like at least an hour to sit down and be able to even do this. And I want to point the light out in the window right now, because the other reason why it's taken me so long to sit down and do this is because the light has changed drastically all day. Just a few moments ago, I was wanting to record, and all of a sudden the sky went black. There was lightning, and it was crazy. You couldn't even see me. And now we've got this like backlight with the light coming in here. So, but it's all in the theme here. So let me just say first, I'm blown away that I am about to report energy with this title, because I'm not religious at all, period. I don't really have a lot of reverence for organized religion, although I know that it helps some people. But what I don't like about it is the divisiveness that comes in and brings people to think that they're better than other people, or my religion is better than yours, and that, all that stuff is like exactly what we're walking away from. And so much of the theme of what's coming through this month, this year, all the energy that we're moving through. So the title for this one is Christed Light. And when I heard that, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, excuse me, I can't report on that. Like, I don't have any connection with even like the word Christ, like all of those kind of things. But what I do have a connection with, and what I do have a reverence for, and what I am here to support and to report about, is the light within all of us. The spirit, the divine energy, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, that divine energy that we are all connected in and through and with, and all of that. And so what I saw when I heard this title, and even the image has like these leaves coming around like a crown, is this sense of almost like a crown or a halo that's being placed on the top of our head. And there's this Christed light, this divine light. And I want to say, even I didn't get this until just now, but the divine light, the divinity that's coming in with this light, it is balanced masculine and feminine. It is horizontal energy, not vertical energy. If you've been following me for any amount of time, I'm sure that you've heard me say it is a circle, it is not a ladder. And we have been told over and over and over again that it is a ladder. We are shown everywhere, every day, all day long, that it is a hierarchy, and that there are some people that are more worthy and some people that are less worthy, and they receive, the effects of that. They have more money or less money, or more resources or less resources based on their worthiness, and that's all 100% bullshit. I don't believe in any of that, and what I think is so interesting is that the hierarchy kind of, it almost is like the word that wants to come through is hive mind. Like the hierarchy hive mind is dissolving right now, and it's kind of crazy making, but there's this beautiful juxtaposition with, I don't know, I almost want to call it like the infection or the disease that's moving out of our system. So as we're receiving this Christed light, what I saw is we are being kind of anointed with this Christed light through our crown, and it's coming down through our spinal column, igniting all of our light and reminding us who we are. So in a way, I want to report and say, hey, this is a great thing. We've got this beautiful light coming in this month. It's going to feel so different. Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. Woohoo! Magazine wine party, you know? But, yes, and also, it's a little bit of a hall of mirrors, like a hall of horrors in a way, because what's happening is the light's coming in, and as the light, like the sort of purpose of the light coming in is to help us push out any dark, dense, heavy energy that no longer serves us and that cannot come with us into the new world. And so there's this, it's almost like a tug of war, and it's very mental. So the two oils that I'm bringing forward for my apothecary are third eye, because what we're working through right now is very mental. It's very meditative. It's the deep internal work of letting go of what no longer serves you and seeing the truth of the thing. I'll get into some of the oils that are in there. And then the other one is Mars, because we're in the Mars retrograde. We're in the dissolving of toxic masculinity and the reintegration or integration ever of divine masculinity with divine femininity, and seeing the truth that exists there. And the fact that we're told that there's this war happening, that it's like, you know, whatever the dualities, it doesn't even matter. It's right or left, or Mars or Venus, or masculine or feminine, yin or yang, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. We're told political, all the things. That we're so far apart, there's such a huge divide, there's war, there's da-da-da-da-da, all this thing. But the truth of it is that I think we're actually much closer here. But the messages that we get from the outside want to push us further and further away, because when we're further and further away, our magnetic energy that lives on both sides of our bodies, they can't come together and strike. And they can't create fire, they can't create magic, they can't create they can't ignite our purpose and our passion and our fire and our desire to be here, and our sovereignty, and the way that we stand in our own feet and we know who we are, and we get shit done when we do that. This is why I started saying this when I first started doing women's circles. When women gather, shit gets done. And it's because of this. Because when we come together, there's this energy that starts to ignite, and we don't even have to know what it is that we're doing. It just strikes and it ignites, and we leave feeling like we're lit up and we're in our desire, and we know what we want to do, and we have this forward thinking. So let me get back to the Christed light and the light that's coming in. It has the purpose of pushing out the old, and this comes in all kinds of forms. The old energy can be thought patterns, belief patterns, old relationships, thoughts about old relationships, thoughts about old things that have happened. And, you know, along the history of our lives or lives before, because when we're at younger ages, things happen, or even at adult ages, things can happen between people or in situations or relationships or whatever. And when we don't have all the information, because either the communication broke down or whatever happened, when we don't have all the information, we tend to tell ourselves a story around it so that we feel like we do have the information. And oftentimes those stories are filled with untruths. And then we end up holding on to that energy. So we end up holding on to rage, anger, resentment, you know, all the things that we're either not willing to feel, or we want to blame someone else because we want to keep ourselves distanced from the emotion. And anyways, all of that is going. And that's why it feels so chaotic right now. And it feels like the triggers are just up everywhere and always. That's why I say, yes, the light's starting to come in. And the light will be here with us through December and maybe further. I didn't look that far, but just for December. Yes, the light is here, and also it's here to kick out all this other stuff. And so it's a little bit like we're watching a movie of like a life review, and we're being presented, and we're going to be being presented with all of these memories of the past, and seeing those things in a different light and realizing like, maybe I was wrong about that. Okay, maybe I didn't have all the information there. Maybe I walked away before the conversation could finish, and also that's the best, that you could do at the time. And so all of it's here to help us find, like going back to the title, the Christed light. It's here to help us find our own kind of Christed light within, our divine light, our divinity, and to see the divinity in others. The word namaste means I bow, the light within me bows to the light within you, like honors the light within you. So it's kind of around that, but and I find it interesting that it's like, oh yeah, of course, Christed light. We've got Christmas, this month. I mean, the irony is just kind of almost gross. And then most people spend the holidays with their families, and where can you get the best triggers but with your family? A friend of mine used to say, I turn 14 every single time I go back home. And so that's kind of the territory we're in. There's this beauty of this light coming through, and we're able to see more of who we are and the gorgeousness about that, and the ways that we may have been wrong about certain things, wrong about ourselves. Like a lot of it is these beliefs that we've been holding on to within ourselves, that we've been holding on to about ourselves, that says we're not good enough, we're not strong enough, we're not powerful enough, we're not independent enough, we couldn't possibly do this, we couldn't possibly open that door. All the ways that we diminish ourselves because we carry around these really challenging beliefs about ourselves that aren't true. And they may have come from someone outside of us. Likely, we got reflections back about that, and then developed feelings about like, oh, well, so-and-so said this about me, so that must be true. But there's also this kind of gentle compassion, which feels like the divine feminine, that is saying it's all allowed, it's all okay. And whoever said those things, or however that thing went down, they were in a trigger likely as well. And they were doing the best with what they had at the time. So there's this kind of recalibration that's coming through, but it is challenging. And this is why I say, grab all of your calm the fuck down oils. So I'll share a couple of them that are, some for me. And actually I'm going to tune in right now to the suggestions for the month. So the first one is identifying your tools. That can be essential oils, but also it can be any of, other things. Some of mine are like yoga, meditation, chanting, going for a walk, being out in nature, and essential oils are at the top of that list, because the fastest way to reach the brain is through the sense of smell. And so, but here's the thing, and this is why I said identify your tools. When we're in a trigger, when we're in a panic, when we're in anxiety, it's like all rationale just exits the building, and we don't remember our tools. We don't remember any of it. So it is important right now to have your tools identified, to know what they are, and to have them in plain sight, so that it's easy to like, oh yeah, I'm in that again. I'm going to go grab that thing. And if I were you, monthly oil aside, cedarwood is definitely one of mine, but I would have for yourself identified at least 5 oils that are like your go-to oils that you need in times of strife. Mine are Stress Away, frankincense, lavender, cedarwood, and probably release. And all of those were kind of like circling around for this month. And then I actually went and smelled a couple of them, and I'm like, oh no, it's cedarwood. Because cedarwood is the energy of belonging, of community, of connection. And it's like there's edges of our psychic field that have been wounded, and I'm seeing it as like kind of inflamed because we're wounded from connection and from relationships that didn't go well. And then we sort of hold back and we don't want to connect and be in community anymore. And cedarwood helps remind us that we already belong. We don't need permission to belong. And a lot of that belonging is an inside job. It's a mental job. So I'm going to go back to third eye now. So of the oils that I described were some of my calm the fuck down oils. Third eye has several of them. So frankincense, sage, lavender, and lemon. So lavender and frankincense were two of the ones that I suggested. Frankincense is the everything's going to be okay oil. Lavender is healing. Lemon is for focus and vision, so you're able to see clearly. So this would be a great support. If you don't have a Young Living account and you don't want to buy the individual oils, third eye would be a good one to lean to, and then Mars. And Mars is more about incorporating our divine masculine. And I've been working with it heavily every day and realizing that, like, wow, I kind of lean away from Mars. I lean away from that masculine because I've been wounded by it, and because I don't want to be that harsh, intense, aggressive masculine energy. And what it's teaching me is that is actually not divine masculinity. Divine masculinity is kind and gentle and soft and educational and welcoming, and so is the divine feminine. They're actually a lot closer to each other than we think. And then the second suggestion for this month is to be in witness. So as you're getting triggered, it's going to happen, especially with family. As you are being triggered, your kind of a homework assignment this month is to stay in the center of yourself and don't react. Be in witness. Watch what's happening. Yes, you can see that someone is freaking out and needing control and leaning out and saying, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to try to control the outcome, which is a fool's errand because you can't do it anyway. But it's like, okay, they're going to try to use that to help them kind of, guide the path and whatever. And that's okay. So just let it be there. And you'll probably try to do it too. I mean, we all try to like control and come in. So when you see those natural reactions come up that are like, ooh, I don't like that, I want to change it, just reach for cedarwood or one of your other calm the fuck down oils and don't respond. Don't react to it. Just be in witness of your own triggers, of your own like natural inclined response that wants to come up, and just look at it and, call in the divine feminine, whatever you need to do. And just allow that part of you to be witnessed and to say, hey, I see you. I get it. However you're feeling right now, it's all okay. It's all okay. Everything that you're feeling is okay. But the thing to remember is that your feelings are not facts. And so when the feeling's coming up, it's like this inner child wants to react and, push against something or someone or say, no, that's not the way I want it. But feelings are not facts. And that is really a big thing that we're learning through meditation, through that third eye, through that Christed light that's coming in and helping us. And we want to be, the third thing is let it go, because we want to be in witness so that we can see what's happening more clearly with the lights on and let it go. Because we don't need to carry those heavy, dense, dark, competitive, aggressive energies about other people or situations. We don't need to be in control. We're not in control anyway. So it's a friggin' joke to try to be. Let me see, was there anything else that wanted to come? I'll probably say it as I'm going to pick a card here. But I'm telling you what, cedarwood it feels like a hug from Mother Earth, from the divine. It's like everything is going to be okay. But again, if you don't have that one, frankincense, lavender, stress away, release, those are all great oils. Third eye for this month, but also, let me think, cedarwood might be in the solar plexus roller. I can't remember. All right, let's see what we got for this month. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Virgin's milk. Let's see what this has to say. But what's interesting, you got to look at this, the picture, because it looks like Christed light coming down from above. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's see what this one has to say, and if anything more wants to come. I swear to God, I did this soul message like 4 times already in my sleep last night. Like the information just kept coming, and I was like, oh dear God, can I get some sleep here? All right, this is from which deck? Looks like it's from the 22 materials. Virgin's milk. Let's break it down here. Innocence, naivete, and purity. Well, right there, I can say that that's part of what it is that we're seeing with this Christed light. It's to shine a light on our own childlike innocence, and that everything that has ever happened to us, especially the things that happened to us when we were children, we were innocent in the face of. And it wasn't our fault, and we didn't make it happen. And oftentimes we told ourselves a story about it that isn't true, and then we're carrying that same story, and that's what's getting ready to leave right now. Okay, in alchemy, Lac Virginis is a mystical substance supposedly coming from the virgin's breast. The alchemist asked, how can it be? How can milk come from one not carrying a child? That is precisely the nuanced teaching of Lac Virginis. When studied as an alchemical concept, it points to a lack of awareness or experience that the alchemist would rather not reveal. Yes, this milky substance is a symbol of purity and innocence, but its shadowed side is naivete and even denial. When the virgin's milk appears, discernment and honesty must be applied to the work. Is something being glossed over, rushed, or presented as perfect? There are likely complexities that need to be addressed so the alchemist can gain the maturity to handle what's next. Okay, this has so much of the maiden archetype and the maiden mother crone trilogy. So what's interesting about this, what I'm getting from this, is the innocence of the child, the innocence of the virgin that, of course, wouldn't have physical milk coming out of their breasts right now, but also the divinity of the ability to create life and to support and sustain life exists well before you're aware of it. And it's like that divinity that lives in us, that innocence that lives in us, that is connected to God, that is connected to unity consciousness. This is why I started with saying the whole thing about organized religion. I don't love all these little camps of organized religion because it doesn't have to, but it often does end up creating this kind of warlike energy, and this sort of hierarchy or feeling that I'm better, and it's like, I feel like it's kind of just a universal thing, whether it's religion or not. Whenever anyone's in that energy of feeling like, I'm better, I've won, blah, 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 like that's exactly the moment that you've lost, because your ego just went off to town with you. But what I love about this virgin's milk is the fact that the innocence is in there. It already exists. I wrote in the blog that there is this awareness that's coming through that we are all equal already. There's not something that we need to do to become equal. This is an inside job. It's a It's a perception shift. And that's why meditation, chanting, all of those kind of things are so important right now, to help us get out of duality consciousness and to help us get out of that warring kind of energy. And so this card is saying to me, yes, it's reminding us that divinity already lives there before it's even been expressed or we have physical evidence of it. To go deeper, watch the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin. To ponder patience as the remedy. Okay, that's kind of what I was saying about watching the Hall of Mirrors as your triggers come up, is just to be patient with it. And even to sit down to record this. I mean, I started hours ago and was writing the blog and getting the newsletter ready and some of those things. And I was like, okay, I'll record a little bit later. And then as I went to go do it, it's pitch black and, lightning and the whole thing. And so I just had to wait. And I'm like, oh, this is frustrating. This is not on my timeline, but it never is. Okay, just one drop of lac virginis can be medicinal. It can help the alchemist act as if. Know your measure. Okay, that says everything. It can help the alchemist act as if. That is what we're doing right now. You know the saying, fake it till you make it? There's a saying I like better, which is fake it till you believe it. Because often, anyone who's been an entrepreneur ever knows the imposter complex is very real. And, you think that you don't have it, and so you have to fake it. And, as in my own experience and as I teach people about this, like, you have to get the tool of what it is that you're doing and your craft, you have to get it in your body. And once it's in your body and it's kind of running on autopilot, that imposter syndrome kind of starts to fade away. But this is what we're doing right now, is like, okay, maybe we don't have it all sorted with our triggers. Maybe we don't have it all figured out just yet, but we're learning to. And so we're going to pretend that we have it together before we actually do, to help us get there. Know your measure. Okay, the lac virginis archetype can be seen in child prodigies and those expected to grow up too quickly. It is remedied by admitting exactly where you are at. Humor and humility help. Okay, so this is so true for a lot of us, children who had to grow up too early. Or for those of us who had to kind of parent their parents in order for the parent to be available to parent them, that fear that comes up. It's like, oh my God, I have to be codependent. I have to take care of them, or they're not going to be available to take care of me. And it starts this, kind of crazy loop. So it's like in that way, like there's a way that like your innocence gets robbed from you, and then we also get these patterns kind of looped in and hooked in so young, and then we keep using them when we get to adulthood, and they don't serve us. They don't help in our adult lives. So I feel like the moral of the story for this month, I'll show you the card again. I feel like the moral of the story for this month is we're all one. There's no hierarchy, and we're dissolving it, but in order to dissolve it outside of us, we have to dissolve it inside of us first. And so wherever we're holding a belief that we're less than, that we're better than, wherever we're engaged in power struggle, in a tug of war, we're not serving ourselves. And remember that wherever that is existing, it means that you're also holding the other side of the rope. And a tug of war, or a war in general, cannot exist unless both people are holding the rope. So you have no control over what someone else does, but you do have control over what you do. And you can drop the rope at any time. So I feel like that's really encompasses it, because this sense of like, identify your tools, because you're going to get triggered and you're going to need them, so that you can stay in witness, so that you can let it go. And that's where we are. And it's so poignant that it's happening at the end of the year, because it feels like there's this sense of, we got to dump this shit off, especially before Mars retrograde is over, which is January 12th. So I have a feeling that there's going to be remnants and maybe some cleanup on aisle 4, in January. We'll see what comes. With Christmas and the holidays and all of that being at the end of the year, there's probably going to be some integration time. And, even once Mars goes back direct on the 12th, or maybe it's the 13th, there's an integration phase. And I think with Mars retrograde being so long, the integration phase is, I don't remember how long it is. It's probably at least a month, because even Mercury retrograde, that's only 3 weeks long, is a 2-week integration and a 2-week setup phase. So we'll be with us for a while. You're going to have plenty of time to practice. But there is a shift happening. There is a threshold moment that has happened. And we've kind of popped into it already on the first here with, the light starting to come through, and the truth of something being seen. And there is a little bit of, I don't know if eating crow is that's not really the right, that's not the right words for it. But there's a sense of even it makes me want to smell cedarwood again. There's this sense of, it's almost relief, because the way that we've lived our lives in so much war, we're in our upper chakras a lot. We're in the shoulders. We're in the fight or flight, which is this fight or flight meridian is all along the backs of the ears and down here and out the ring finger. And so we get this tense shoulder thing when we're like, okay, I have to go to war. Oh my God, I have to know the thing. I have to be ready for this interaction. I have to be ready for this. So it's like this. It has that kind of energy, like you're ready to fight. And as we start learning the truth of the situation, all of that is going to start calming and softening and bringing us back down, like a yummy Epsom salt bath that just is like, ooh, okay, maybe some cedarwood goes in the bath, or release literally lives in my bathroom, because that goes in the bathtub all the time, or stress away. But cedarwood is a really nice one. I usually put that in the diffuser while I'm in the bath. But so there's a letdown. There's a letdown of the nervous system. There's a letdown and a coming into the parasympathetic nervous system. That's like, hey, it's safe to relax. It's safe to rest. And that's some of the divine feminine coming in to help, right? To balance that masculine feminine. So I think that's it. A couple announcements. So if you have been in moon ceremony or buying those individually, there is a subscription. There has been a subscription for a while, and I have not formally announced this yet because it's clunky, and I'm just putting it together and it's a mess. And there's this piece of embracing the mess that's up right now, certainly for me. But anyways, I've created something called the Wild Sisterhood Community, and it's an online community. It includes both of the moon ceremonies every month, and then I'm going to be going live, doing different offerings. I don't even know what all is going to be in there, but I'm trying to get the platform set, and what I'm finding on my website I don't really love, so I'm probably going to be adjusting the platform for that. And once I get it set in the place I like and I know it's going to live, I will do a formal announcement of it. But if you are like, oh my God, I have to be part of that, I want to connect with other women that are doing this level of work, it's already up and there's several people in it. So if you want to, if you want to be in it, you can get into it at any time. It's on the community page of my website. So that's going on. The 2 moon ceremonies, I think, are December 7 and December 23. Which means I'm going to have to record it while I'm on vacation. So there's those 2 going on, and I may do an in-person event in December. I haven't sorted that completely. That is kind of like an end of the year, letting go of everything that you want to let go of to make space for the new. And I may stream that online as well through Zoom or something like that, so that people that don't live in Portland can come as well. This is going to be my first public event since before COVID. or in-person event. But I'm going to try to make that as accessible as possible. So I kind of hesitate to go back to the in-person thing because I want everybody to be available, but we'll see how it goes. I'm in this same energy, of course. And so it's like we get a little bit of information. It's like 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. So just be super gentle with yourself. Know it's clunky for everyone. Nobody knows what day or time it is. My sleep has been so jacked up. It's like, it's almost reversed. Like I'm up all night and then I can't wake up during the day. It's crazy making. But I love you. We're in this together. And the more that we can unify and the more that we can connect, like in the Wild Sisterhood with intention, where it's like, people are coming together with the same intention for, awakening and evolution of self and, outside of like ego about it or, any of that kind of stuff. We can help midwife each other's hopes and dreams and what we have going on and all of that. So it's beautiful. All right. I've talked enough. Love you. Namaste. Always reach out with questions, whatever you got, and I'm here to help. And if you need help with this territory, of course, this is what I do. This is what healing sessions are all about. Or if you want just some channeled information, you can order a spirit reading and get an audio recording of what's going on for you. All right. Love you. Namaste. Have a wonderful December and good luck with all of these beautiful, bright, Christed, divine light that is coming through right now. Okay, namaste.